Most men don't realize this until it's too late. They think age gives them clarity, wisdom, and control. But what age really gives you is exposure. Exposure to your weaknesses, your illusions, and the lies you told yourself when you were younger. After 50 and 60, life stops negotiating with you. It starts collecting dues. And one of the biggest emotional debts older men create for themselves is believing they still need a girlfriend to feel alive, relevant, or chosen. That belief alone ruins peace faster than poverty, illness, or loneliness ever could. At that stage of life, companionship is no longer about romance. It becomes about responsibility. Your body slows down, your energy changes, your priorities shrink, and your tolerance for chaos disappears. Yet some men still chase emotional excitement as if they are 30, forgetting that the cost of mistakes rises with age. What used to be recoverable becomes permanent. What used to be drama becomes exhaustion. And what used to be passion slowly turns into pressure. The first reality most men refuse to accept is that emotional dynamics don't age with you. Desire doesn't mature. It shifts. A girlfriend at 50 or 60 is not entering your life to grow old with you in peace. She is entering to extract something: attention, stability, validation, or resources. That doesn't make her evil. It makes her human. But the danger lies in pretending the exchange is romantic when it is transactional. Younger men can afford emotional experiments. Older men cannot, because at that age, every emotional disturbance affects your health, your sleep, your blood pressure, your mental clarity. You don't bounce back, you break down. The second truth is that after 50, love stops being blind and starts being selective, but not in your favor. You bring history, baggage, habits, limitations, and vulnerabilities. She brings expectations, and expectations don't care about your past sacrifices or struggles. They care about present performance. Can you provide emotional excitement? Can you keep up physically? Can you tolerate mood swings? Can you compete with her need for novelty? And if you fail, and eventually you will, respect quietly evaporates. Nothing hurts an older man more than realizing he is being tolerated, not desired. Another harsh truth is that companionship at that age often costs more than solitude. Solitude gives you control. It gives you routine, stability, and silence. A girlfriend introduces unpredictability. Her emotions don't align with your biological rhythm. Her needs don't slow down because your body does. And the moment you start adjusting your life to meet those needs, resentment begins. You won't say it out loud, but your body will express it through fatigue, irritation, withdrawal, and eventually emotional numbness. You start losing yourself trying to maintain relevance in someone else's emotional world. There's also the illusion of youth that traps older men. Being with a girlfriend makes some men feel younger, temporarily, but borrowed youth always charges interest. You start dressing differently, behaving differently, spending differently, and slowly your identity shifts from grounded maturity to performative vitality. That performance is exhausting, and once you stop performing, attraction collapses. Real connection doesn't survive performance. Only authenticity does. And authenticity at that age prefers peace, not emotional games. One of the most dangerous lies men believe is that a girlfriend will cure loneliness. Loneliness isn't the absence of people, it's the absence of alignment. If you're not aligned with your own life, no woman will fix that. In fact, she may amplify the emptiness, because now, instead of sitting alone with your silence, you're sitting next to someone who doesn't understand your inner world. That's a deeper kind of loneliness, one that feels invisible and humiliating. There's also the reality of power imbalance. Age creates asymmetry. Either you have more resources or she has more options. That imbalance always distorts respect. If you hold the resources, you're valued for provision. If she holds the options, you're valued for tolerance. Neither creates genuine intimacy. Intimacy requires equality, not dependency. And after 50, equality in romantic dynamics becomes rare, not because people are bad, but because life stages no longer match. Another truth men avoid is that emotional attachment at that age threatens legacy. Your focus should be on health, stability, purpose, and contribution. A girlfriend redirects attention inward toward validation, reassurance, and emotional management. Instead of strengthening your inner structure, you start outsourcing emotional regulation. That's dangerous, because when she leaves, and many do, she takes the emotional scaffolding with her. And rebuilding at that age is far harder than building at 30. Then there's the quiet erosion of self-respect. Older men know better, yet still compromise boundaries for affection. They tolerate disrespect they would have never accepted when younger. They explain behavior they shouldn't excuse, and every compromise chips away at dignity. You may still smile publicly, but internally something collapses. Self-respect is fragile in later years. Once broken, it rarely recovers fully. Health is another factor nobody wants to discuss honestly. Stress accelerates aging. Emotional instability weakens immunity. Arguments raise blood pressure. Anxiety disrupts sleep. At 25, this is manageable. At 55, it's cumulative damage. Peace becomes medicine. Predictability becomes therapy. And chaos becomes poison. A girlfriend introduces emotional variability, and your body pays the price. There's also the reality that after 50, time becomes sacred. You no longer have decades to recover from emotional mistakes. Every year matters. Every choice compounds. Spending that time managing someone else's emotional needs instead of refining your own life is a poor investment. The return diminishes rapidly. And perhaps the hardest truth of all is this: many men don't want a girlfriend. They want relevance. They want to feel chosen again, desired again, needed again. But chasing that feeling through romantic attachment is the weakest way to reclaim meaning. Meaning comes from purpose, mastery, contribution, and peace, not from being emotionally needed by someone who may leave once circumstances change. There is a quiet dignity in choosing solitude over unnecessary attachment. Solitude isn't emptiness, it's clarity. It allows you to listen to your body, your mind, your regrets, and your truths without interference. It gives you the space to age with grace instead of anxiety, to slow down without shame, to rest without explanation. At 50 and 60, companionship should feel like calm, not confusion, like support, not strain, like addition, not obligation. And if it doesn't meet that standard, it's not love, it's distraction. And distraction at that age is expensive. Most men underestimate how silence reshapes you at that age. When you live alone long enough, your nervous system recalibrates. You wake up without tension. You eat without negotiating preferences. You sleep without emotional residue from arguments, expectations, or disappointments. Then a girlfriend enters and suddenly your peace becomes conditional. Your mood depends on her tone. Your day depends on her messages. Your night depends on unresolved conversations. That dependency doesn't feel dangerous at first. It feels comforting. But comfort that relies on another person always turns fragile. There's also the issue of emotional labor. Younger men often don't notice it because their energy is high. Older men feel it immediately, listening, reassuring, explaining, apologizing, adjusting. All of it consumes mental bandwidth, and mental bandwidth is limited after a certain age. You start forgetting things, losing focus, feeling mentally drained, not because you're weak, but because your brain is prioritizing survival, not stimulation. A girlfriend demands stimulation. Your body demands conservation. That conflict slowly wears you down. Another uncomfortable truth is that modern relationships reward emotional availability more than emotional stability. At 50 and 60, most men offer stability, consistency, predictability, reliability. But stability isn't exciting. It doesn't trigger butterflies. It doesn't create obsession. And when excitement fades, comparison begins. You won't always see it, but you'll feel it in subtle distance, delayed replies, reduced enthusiasm. And that quiet shift hurts more than open rejection because it forces you to question your worth without giving you clarity. Many men also forget that attraction is not built on history, it's built on presence. She doesn't care how hard you worked in your 30s. She doesn't care what you sacrificed. She responds to how you make her feel now. And if your energy is calm, reserved, or introspective, which is natural at that age, it may not match her emotional appetite. That mismatch creates frustration on both sides. You feel unappreciated. She feels unfulfilled. Nobody wins. Then comes the subtle loss of authority in your own life. You start consulting instead of deciding. You delay choices to avoid conflict. You soften opinions to maintain harmony. Over time, your world shrinks around someone else's emotional center. And when a man loses authority over his own life, he doesn't become loving. He becomes cautious. Caution kills masculine presence faster than failure ever could. There's also the danger of nostalgia-driven attachment. Some men aren't attracted to the woman. They're attracted to what she represents: youth, second chances, redemption. They're not dating her. They're dating their past. And the past always disappoints when you try to relive it, because you're no longer the man you were. And that's not a flaw. It's reality. Fighting that reality creates inner conflict that never resolves. Financial entanglement is another silent risk. Even when money isn't discussed, expectations form. Who pays, who provides, who supports whom during instability? At that age, financial security equals peace of mind. Introducing emotional relationships often introduces financial ambiguity, and ambiguity creates anxiety. Anxiety erodes trust. Trust erodes connection. It's a slow unraveling that many men only recognize once damage is done. Another truth men rarely admit is that after 50, respect matters more than affection. Affection fades, attraction fluctuates, but respect sustains identity, and romantic dynamics don't always protect respect, especially when vulnerability is misinterpreted as weakness. When a man opens emotionally and feels unseen or dismissed, something inside him shuts down, and once that door closes, it rarely opens again. There's also the burden of compromise. Compromise sounds noble, but excessive compromise is self-betrayal. At that stage of life, your habits are ingrained. Your routines are optimized for survival and comfort. Constantly adjusting them for someone else creates friction. You stop feeling at home in your own life. And a man who doesn't feel at home anywhere begins to feel restless everywhere. Some men argue that companionship prevents decline, but decline isn't prevented by attachment. It's prevented by purpose. Purpose keeps the mind sharp. Routine keeps the body functional. Peace keeps the heart steady. Romantic relationships don't guarantee any of these. In fact, they often distract from them. You start investing energy outward instead of inward. An inward investment is what sustains longevity. Then there's the quiet humiliation of emotional dependency, needing reassurance, waiting for messages, overthinking silence. At 60, those experiences hit differently. They don't feel romantic. They feel undignified, and dignity is priceless at that age. Once compromised, it leaves a residue of shame that lingers long after the relationship ends. Most men don't fear being alone, they fear being forgotten. But attachment doesn't solve that fear. Legacy does. Contribution does. Mentorship does. Leaving something meaningful behind does. A girlfriend doesn't fill that existential gap. She may delay it, distract from it, soften it, but she cannot resolve it. And when the relationship ends, because many do, the aftermath is heavier. Recovery is slower. Trust rebuilds cautiously. Emotional walls thicken. The risk of isolation increases, not decreases. What was meant to protect against loneliness becomes its trigger. At that age, peace isn't boring. It's earned. Stability isn't dull. It's rare. Solitude isn't emptiness. It's sovereignty. And every emotional choice either strengthens that sovereignty or weakens it quietly, gradually, without announcement. What most men finally understand, if they are honest with themselves, is that life after 50 is not about adding people. It's about subtracting noise. You've already lived through chaos. You've already paid emotional taxes. You've already learned how fragile peace really is. So the question is no longer, can I still attract? The real question is, what am I willing to lose to feel wanted? Because every relationship at that stage comes with a price. Not always money, often dignity, often calm, often health, often clarity. And the older you get, the higher the price becomes. What once cost a few sleepless nights now costs months of recovery. What once felt like excitement now feels like pressure. And what once felt like love now feels like maintenance. There is a quiet strength in a man who no longer needs to prove anything, who doesn't chase validation, who doesn't confuse attention with meaning. That man scares people, not because he's bitter, but because he's complete. And completeness doesn't beg to be chosen, it chooses itself. After 50 and 60, life is no longer about intensity. It's about depth. It's no longer about chemistry. It's about alignment. It's no longer about being desired. It's about being at peace with who you are when nobody is watching. A girlfriend doesn't guarantee any of that. In many cases, she interrupts it. Men who thrive in later years are not the ones surrounded by emotional stimulation. They are the ones surrounded by structure, routine, health, purpose, silence. They wake up knowing what the day holds. They sleep without emotional residue. They move through life without explaining themselves. And the truth most men don't want to hear is this: loneliness hurts less than regret. Silence hurts less than disrespect. Solitude hurts less than self-betrayal. You can survive being alone. What destroys men is abandoning themselves to keep someone else comfortable. There's nothing wrong with connection. What's dangerous is attachment without alignment. What's dangerous is confusing companionship with fulfillment. What's dangerous is letting someone else become the emotional center of a life that should now revolve around preservation, not performance. At that age, your nervous system wants predictability. Your heart wants calm. Your mind wants meaning. Romance often delivers unpredictability, emotional spikes, and distraction. And distraction is expensive when time becomes limited. So the strongest choice isn't isolation. It's selectiveness. It's knowing that not every door deserves to be opened. Not every invitation deserves a response. Not every feeling deserves action. Wisdom isn't found in who you let in. It's found in who you keep out. A man who protects his peace isn't cold. He's disciplined. A man who chooses solitude over emotional chaos isn't broken. He's aware. And a man who stops chasing romantic validation in his later years doesn't lose life. He finally keeps it.